Well, good morning. Jesus is Lord. The devil's defeated. Hey, the word works. Seed time and harvest. It's a way of life. Somebody asked me a question, wrote it on that thing on YouTube. Good question. Deserves a good answer. And I haven't been able to answer him back. So I want to do that today. Seed time and harvest. Can I just go out and plant $1 and get 100? Well, yes. But there's a commitment factor here that you've got to be born again, spirit filled, and totally committed to the Word of God. Now, this is not a welfare program where I'll just go give away $100 and get back 10,000. Oh, no, no, no. This is a way of life, and it's out of your commitment to God. Now, it's Thursday afternoon while I'm making this program, tomorrow morning, Friday morning. I usually do this on the day that I do it, but I want to tell you this. You sow the seed expecting God to multiply the seed that is sown because God is the multiplier, not the person that you sowed the seed to. Now, I cut 5 yards today, big yards. I cut the grass, I cut the church yard, I cut the girls' yard across the street that's a single mom. I cut my daughter's yard, I cut my son's yard. I'm not going to get paid for any of those. Not looking to any of those people to get paid. I didn't do it for pay. I mean, if I was going to do it for pay, I'd find a better job. I got on my lawnmower at 5 o'clock this morning and I got off of it at 12 o'clock all day, just working on it, But you see, I planted that seed expecting God to multiply the seed sown, that other people will do things for me. And watch this, watch. I will never be in the place where I'm too old to do my own. I'll never be in the place where my circumstances have got to where I can't do my own. Seed time and harvest is a way of life. I went to Cuba 40 times. I think actually 42 times back where nobody could go. I'm talking 12, 15 years ago. I paid all the expenses. I preached all over that island. God favored me. I was blessed. And I preached to crowds of 12. I preached to crowds of 200 or 300. I preached to a crowd one time of 15,000 people in Cuba, in Camagüey, Cuba. I mean, I've had some great meetings down there. And paid the expenses, which cost me several $1,000s for fuel alone and all the rest of the stuff just to get there because there weren't any commercial flights. And I might tell y'all a story but someday, maybe at the end of this program. But I mean, it was a God thing. Glad to do it. The biggest offering I ever got down there was $1.76, and that came from a church of 12. So I didn't go down there for money. It was a place for me to sow a seed. It was a place for me to be a blessing to pastors. There was one time that we held a pastors' conference, and I paid all the expenses to get there, several $1,000s. Took care of all the hotel expenses and food for the other 2 guys that went with me. They weren't out a dime. And we gave each pastor about 10 or 12 books in Spanish by several friends of mine, people that I know, like Kenneth Copeland and others. And then I gave each one of them a full month's salary. Now, I'm not looking to them to give me anything back. They don't. Somebody said, a full month's salary? Well, a full month's salary for them was $10. So it wasn't like it was a whole lot of money. To them it was, but to me it wasn't. In fact, I remember one night sitting there having dinner with a couple of the mayor and the governor of the area, and at this little restaurant that we were at, where I could feed everybody in the party of about 15, for less than $100. And there was a armored vehicle came up, and I said, "Really? What's that for?" They said, "Oh, there's a lot of money in a nice restaurant, though." So they come pick up the money, and I'm saying, "Well, how much money would they have after a night?" And they said, "Oh, it could be a couple of $1,000s." And I'm sitting there going, "Ooh, I got more than that in my pocket. It cost me that to buy fuel and pay my fees to get out of there." Listen, I'm so blessed, and you're so blessed. But watch, I'm going to help you. I'm not living on their economy. I'm living on the kingdom economy. I wasn't subject to how poor they were. I'm subject to how rich God is. So, seed time and harvest. You never put pressure on the person that you're sowing the seed to, or do you expect a person, that person, or another person to multiply the seed. You're expecting God to multiply the seed. But there's a commitment factor here of being sold out to Jesus and being 100% committed to the Word of God. I got 3 or 4 tomato plants around there. 5, I think. Hey, they're not doing too good. Didn't plant it in good soil. I preached on that the other day. Make sure you plant your seed in good soil. But my life is not dependent on those tomato plants. I might get a half a dozen. I believe I'll get more than that at them. But the point is, a farmer is 100% committed that this stuff's got to work. Well, you're going to have to be sold out to God, living for God, planting the seed of the Word of God in your life, and so that that Word can grow up and produce a harvest. And then seed time and harvest, sowing seed to your wife, sowing love to your wife, understanding to your kids, taking care of your parents in their old age. All of that stuff just becomes a way of life. My sister did a better job than I did. I've only got one sister, but when my parents got old and in need of help, we were there. We paid their bills. We took care of them. We made sure that they had everything that they needed. And that's the first Bible command with promise, is he that honors his mother and father, that he shall live a long life, and it shall be well with thee. So I knew that. So watch this. I wasn't expecting my mother and daddy to leave me anything. In fact, my mama used to joke, said, boy, if you waiting on me to die to get an inheritance, you barking up the wrong tree. Now, maybe you don't understand that, but I was barking up the wrong tree. She said, your daddy and I are going to spend it all. And they did. I mean, my sister and I, after we sold their house, paid the bills, had just a couple of $3,000 each. But you know, we didn't do it because of the inheritance. We did it because of our love for our mother and father and our love for God. So seed time and harvest becomes a way of life, not that you're just expecting the harvest, but my harvest is going to be that I won't ever need somebody to take care of me, because it says in Philippians 4:13 that I can do all things through Christ. And it goes on to say in the Amplified Bible, I am self-sufficient, possessing enough to require no aid or support. So that seed that I planted toward my parents, I'm going to reap the harvest of I don't need my kids to take care of me. I'm always going to have an abundance and no lack. So this is what I'm getting at. It's a way of life because you're committed to the Word of God. You know, okay, I get into next week, well, maybe tomorrow, on getting the whole thing now. You don't plant a seed and hope that in the sweet by and by, when I go to be with Jesus, I'm going to have a mansion in glory land. Yes, I am. But I want to live in a mansion here. In fact, I'd like to have a couple of them. But I got seed in the ground for that. I have sown a bunch of cars, 3 airplanes, and several homes. I mean, just gave them away. And so I've got seed and right to receive, but I didn't do that just to get it. I did it because I love God. He loves me. It's a way of life. Get out of here, Frank. You got to go. Ran over today. I'll get back to this tomorrow, saints. So, hey, have a great day. And until I'm with you tomorrow, remember, Jesus is Lord. Thank God the Word works.